Hello students, welcome to the EPG Pathshala. I'm Dr. Trishanjit Kaur, Professor and Head Department of Library and Information Science and Dean Faculty of Education and Information Science from Punjab University, Patiala. Today, I'm going to talk about the module Academic Library Buildings and Infrastructure and Safety Issues from paper Academic Libraries. So students, the learning objective is to study about the factors to be kept in mind while designing academic library buildings, its interior, exterior, and furnishing, etc. Provision for physically disabled, safety measures, especially in case of disasters. The design of library buildings differs from each kind of library depending on the parent organization, its aims, objectives, functions, uses, and resources. A public library building will be different from school, college library, and university library, will be unlike these. Academic libraries comprise of school, college, and university libraries. Among them, design of each one is distinct in itself. This lesson will concentrate mainly on university library buildings. University library building architecture and designs, they have changed over years and undergone many changes. In India, a detailed doctoral study on university library buildings was done by Dr. Rajwant Singh in 1984 from University of Rajasthan and published in book form. It provides a detailed account of university libraries along with their plans. University architecture and designs have undergone a lot of change because of the influence and impact of information communication technology. The inner space is now devoted to computers and other technologies more than was done in traditional libraries. In the years after that, there has been an increasing development from book and shelving dominated libraries to hybrid libraries, a combination of physical and digital services. University Grants Commission and University Library Buildings. Non-recurring grants are given to the university libraries by the UGC. They are mainly for the construction of library buildings and for the purchase of library furniture. The UGC Library Committee and the Building Development Committee (BDC) of the Indian Standards Institution, now called BIS, have done a commendable work towards the planning of university library buildings in India. Library building, a teamwork. Team comprises of librarian, architect, engineer, and consultants. It's a planned exercise of selection of site, testing of soil for strength, that depends how many storied building you have to construct, making building plan, the design of the exterior, and of course interior, and layout plan of different sections, ventilation, lighting, air conditioning, fire and flood prevention, and other important aspects. According to McDonald, 10 qualities of library space, it is recognized that good library space has 10 important qualities, and that ideally this new space should be functional, adaptable, accessible, varied, interactive, conducive, environmentally suitable, safe and secure, efficient, suitable for information technology. In addition, new library space should have the oomph or wow factor. Library standards, buildings, furnitures, and manpower. Standards may be defined as officially adopted quantitative and qualitative norms which have been variously interpreted as the pattern of an ideal, a model procedure, a measure for appraisal, a stimulus for future development and improvement, and as an instrument to assist decision and action. In the context of libraries, the standards are based on criteria which can be instrumental in the measurements or assessments of the library services. These criteria are determined by the professional librarians in order to attain and maintain the objectives they set onto themselves. Library standards are not only helpful in the library work, but they also serve administrators and heads of the institutions in planning and administering the libraries. The standards serve the dual function of the evaluation of the ongoing services as well as of planning better and improved services for the future. The standards serve as indispensable aid to library authorities and librarians in developing adequate book stocks, in functional and adequate building made, and in securing properly qualified personnel. This brings uniformity and order, without which a library is merely a storehouse of hidden riches. So let's start with the stage of planning of the libraries or information centers and the use of various standards in these. So now we can see what are the standards there for the planning of libraries. Building, furnitures and fittings planning. Planning for optimum utilization of space. The mantra should be that no space goes unutilized and effective utilization should be done. This implies the development of a functionally effective layout of the information center. Planning of the physical layout should, among other things, consider the overall objective and function of the information center and assess the space requirements. Indian Standards Institute, which is now known as Bureau of Indian Standards or BIS in short, appointed Dr. S.R. Ranganathan as the chairman of its first documentation sectional committee, which accorded priority to the areas of library buildings, furnitures and fittings. The committee finalized its draft for standards regarding buildings, furnitures and fittings, and as a result, IS 1553-1960 Code of Practice relating to primary elements in the design of library building came into existence that gives information on the following things. Number one, the average size of different types of libraries in terms of the number of books, bound volumes of periodicals, number of current periodicals for display, the number of seats for readers, and strength of library staff. Number two, the different kinds of rooms required for different libraries. And number three, the basis and method of estimating the dimension of each kind of room, etc. Since 1960, the following more standards have been developed by the Indian Standards Institution that are as follows. IS 2672-1966 Code of Practice for Library Lighting. IS 1892 Part 1 1978 Specifications for Library Furnitures and Fittings. Part 1 Timber First Revision. IS 1892 Part 2 1977 Specifications for Library Furnitures and Fittings. Part 2 Steel. IS 1233-1969 Recommendations for Modular Coordination of Dimensions in the Building Industry, First Revision. IS 1172-1971 Code of Basic Requirements for Water Supply, Drainage and Sanitation, Second Revision. IS 1883-1975 Metal Shelving Racks, Adjustable Type, Second Revision. IS 8338-1976 Recommendations relating to primary elements in design of school library buildings. IS 3312-1974 Steel Shelving Cabinets, Adjustable Type, First Revision. Ninth is IS 4116-1976 Wooden Shelving Cabinets, Adjustable Type, First Revision. All these standards laid only the essential dimensions for proper functioning of the fittings and furnitures. Otherwise, full freedom is given to the architect to plan and design the library building according to the best of his creative ability and according to the local architecture. Principles summarized by Kola. In the planning of library buildings, Ranganathan's 5 laws of library science, with their possible implications, may be used as basic principles. On the other hand, P. N. Kola has summarized the principles enunciated by different specialists as follows. Number 1, building should be designed on the functional basis. Number 2, physical design should be governed by the functions of the library. Number 3, interior details should be planned anterior to the exterior. Number 4, building should provide economy in administration and operation. Number 5, main study areas should be close to the bookshelves and stacks. Number 6, building should represent simplicity in character. Number 7, consideration should be given for expansion and anticipated development in the future. Number 8, physical conveniences should be in proportion to the number and nature of clientele and library staff. Number 9, details of the library should be worked out based on the existing data and the proportional future growth. And number 10, plan of the building should be adaptable to the future growth and development. Planning requires data on document collection, acquisition program, technical operations, reading space, accessibility to shelves, circulation, reference, and consultation, specialized services, if any, and library personnel. The entire planning activity needs the participation of the librarian, architect, consultant, administrator, and the constructor engineer. After the planning of the space and building, another important thing is to be taken care of in the library, which is furniture and equipment planning, because it has been said that a library building is incomplete without the proper furniture, fittings, and furnishings. Ergonomics. In a highly competitive academic environment, the library is an essential component of an institution's intellectual expression. Libraries must design their spaces in a way that meet the needs of the 21st century learning, teaching, and research. Ergonomics is an important aspect of design. Ergonomics is a scientific discipline concerned with improving productivity, health, safety, and comfort, and helping people and technology work together. Ergonomic design should support humans in achieving operational objectives. There are 3 goals in human-centered design. Number 1, enhance human abilities. Number 2, overcome human limitations. Number 3, foster user acceptance. To achieve these objectives, there are key elements of ergonomics to consider. Number 1, workstation design, chairs, work surfaces, and accessories. Number 2, the environment, space planning, use of colors, lighting, acoustics, air quality, thermal factors, etc. The discussion of library ergonomics and modern design technologies has been largely restricted to libraries of developed Western nations. There has been almost no attempt to improve libraries in India, and the issues has been largely ignored in academic libraries. Shelf space is crucial in library collection planning. Academic libraries that need additional space generally do not have open land to expand their storage. Many libraries have solved this problem by using compact shelving. Studies in libraries in the Western nations show that up to 50% of the floor area can be saved by using compact shelving because there is one access aisle for a number of ranges. Illumination is also an important issue. There are specifications for illumination of reading areas, staff, work areas, and shelves. The design of the library building should be such as to attract maximum sunlight. Reading or working under insufficient light for considerable time causes eye strain that may ultimately lead to eye disorders. temperature, and relative humidity are crucial factors in the preservation of library collections. Heat accelerates deterioration, and humidity helps promote harmful chemical reactions. Heat and humidity encourage mold growth and insect activity. Low humidity can also be a problem and cause materials to become brittle. India is a country of extreme weathers, so all the states have to keep in mind wherever the weather is hot or cold or humid, the building has to be designed accordingly. And now there is trend for green architecture or green buildings. Noise level is another important factor that affects work in the library. Noise has a psychological effect and creates concentration problems in studying or work. Even when the library interior is quiet, there may be sound from outside that creates a problem. Persons with disabilities, equal opportunities, protection of rights, and full participation Act of 1995, popularly known as PWD Act in India, is giving stress on equal rights for all. The national policy for persons with disabilities was released on 10th February 2006. The policy recognizes that persons with disabilities are valuable human resource for the country and seeks to create an environment that provides them equal opportunities, protection of their rights, and full participation in society. The Indian higher education system is said to be the world's third largest, preceded by the ones in China and United States. With nearly 140 million people in the college going age group, 1 in every 4 graduates in the world will be a product of the Indian higher education system. However, higher education in India in itself stands for a great contradiction. On one side, the Indian Institute of Technology ranks among the best universities in the entire world, and on the other side, there are numerous schools which lack proper infrastructure for the basic student needs. In the midst of all these problems is a nation that is working towards ensuring equal access and education for all. There is also need for providing social justice to all. At present, there are 659 universities in India, including central, state, private, and deemed to be universities, and nearly 17 million students are enrolled in universities. Keeping in view the need to provide special education programs as well as infrastructure to differently abled persons in higher education institutions, the scheme is extended to the 12th plan from 2012 to 2017. While taking admission in various courses, there is a reservation policy and guidelines formulated by the apex body, that is the UGC, for the physically challenged students for each course, and a fee waiver is also offered in many courses. To empower differently abled persons, most central universities and at least one state university in each state should have a department of disability studies which should address all issues relating to persons with disabilities, especially human rights, rehabilitation, education, etc. University Grants Commission in its circular number F61 CCP2 dated 9th January 2009 has mentioned to extend facilities of cassette recorders for blind students in universities, to provide facilities to persons with disabilities, to strictly follow the directions mentioned in PWD Act, to introduce the Department of Disability Studies, and to take steps to make the institutions barrier-free. UGC in its 11th plan guidelines has also mentioned make the building disabled friendly and also a barrier-free access for persons with disabilities. The environment should be barrier-free for wheelchairs as well as for other mobility devices. But every university did not implement it. So, the efforts continue, and in the current 12th five-year plan, various schemes are offered by the UGC with grants for universities and colleges. The institutions should create special facilities such as ramps, rails, and special toilets and make other necessary changes to suit the special needs of differently abled persons. For this purpose, the UGC will make a one-time grant of up to Rs 10 lakhs per university during the plan period. The construction plans should clearly address the accessibility issues pertaining to disability. Jagadguru Arambhadacharya Handicapped University, called the JRHU, is the first university of its kind not only in India but also in the whole world. The university offers graduate, postgraduate, and doctoral courses exclusively to disabled students. It was founded by Jagadguru Arambhadacharya in 2001 and established by the government of Uttar Pradesh by the JRHU Act, which also declared Jagadguru Arambhadacharya as the lifelong chancellor of the university. The university is approved by the University Grants Commission and is entitled to donations, being exempt from income tax under Section 35 AC of the Income Tax Act of India 1961. The learning of basic Sanskrit and computers is compulsory at JRHU. The university believes that Sanskrit must be learned as it is the mother of all Indian languages and the essence of Indian culture, while knowledge of computers is necessary for the disabled to meet modern challenges. There is a high priority on character building and physical fitness. The learning methodologies are participative and interactive, and modern teaching aids suitable to the four types of disabled are used. The curriculum is enriched by seminars, symposia, and workshops at state and national level to provide appropriate exposure to students. There are indoor and outdoor sports facilities specially designed for disabled students. For more information, you can check the link. Ministry for Social Justice and Empowerment chose Pondicherry University for the National Award for being the best training institution for the empowerment of persons with disabilities 2011. This is the first university in India to be given this award, which is usually reserved for NGOs, special schools, and training centers. The university introduced a number of innovative steps for disabled students, which includes free education as well as boarding and lodging at the university hostels, disabled-friendly campus infrastructure. This is important. The university library has many facilities for the visually impaired, and the university has ensured that all the buildings have ramps, lifts that can accommodate wheelchairs. This is one unique example that should be emulated by other universities of India. Safety issues. Disaster in the context of library and information services, it is defined as any incident which threatens human safety and or damages or threatens to damage a library's buildings, collections, contents, facilities or services, by Matthews and Eden, 1996. This damage can be either permanent or, if fortunate, temporary. Fires can permanently destroy any traces of a library, whereas it is possible to salvage documents from a flood. Natural and man-made disasters. Disasters can be natural and man-made ones that are masterminded by man either intentionally or accidentally. Most common ones are earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, landslides, fires, or water damage, damage due to short-circuiting of electricity. Disasters can also be due to lack of maintenance of buildings, leakages, poor storage and environmental control, vandalism, theft, etc. Fire can be devastating to libraries. Proper fire safety is essential for any academic library. Historically speaking, Takshila University, located in the city of Gandhara, known to be the first university in the world, had an excellent library which had rich collection in different subjects. The city, along with the university and its library, were destroyed during the invasion of Hunas during the mid-15th century. Nalanda University boasted of a massive library called the Dharmagunj, or Mountain of Knowledge, that was set up in three buildings named Ratnasagar, Ratnodhavi, and Ratnajank. Ratnadadhi was 9 stories tall and stored the most sacred manuscripts, including the Prajna Paramita Sutra and the Samaj Guhya. Nalanda University was destroyed many times but restored again. But it could not recover from the third and final blow dealt in 1193 AD by Bakhtiyar Khilji, a general of Qutbuddin Aibak, out to uproot Buddhism. The Turkish invaders set ablaze and destroyed the huge library of the university, said to rival one at Luxor in Egypt. On September 15, 2014, the same Delhi again reiterated that the original Nalanda University, Mission Science, was burned down by an army of Turkish invaders in 1193. This is an article called Nalanda University Set to Capture Erstwhile Glory in New Avatar, appeared in Hindustan Times, Patna, September 15, 2014. History is a proof. There is no consensus among the historians regarding facts about the destruction, but it is clear that both the oldest university libraries were destroyed and lost valuable collection of rare manuscripts. This historical background is important to understand and appreciate that, like any other buildings, academic libraries have also been under threats of destruction due to theft, fire, natural disasters, and other reasons. India has 28 states and 7 union territories, including one national capital territory of Delhi. India is highly prone to natural disasters. Floods, droughts, cyclones, earthquakes, and landslides have been recurrent phenomena. Man-made disasters also compounded the problem, such as epidemics, fire, etc. Out of 602 districts in the country, 125 districts have been identified as most hazard-prone. About 60% of the land area is prone to earthquakes, where 55% is under seismic zone 3. About 40 million hectares is prone to floods, and 8% of the total area is prone to cyclones. This was quoted by Chandran in 2006. India has witnessed and experienced major disasters in the past were Uttarkashi earthquake 1991, Latur earthquake 1993, super cyclone in Orissa 1999, and the earthquake in Gujarat 2001, South Asia tsunami 2004. According to the Disaster Management in India, a status report, in the decade 1990 to 2000, an average of about 4,344 people lost their lives and about 30 million people were affected by disasters every year. And the figure goes on increasing year by year, and it is unending. Disaster management and ignored area. It has been found from casual look at the websites of universities and university libraries that majority of the libraries do not have a sound disaster plan. The libraries are equipped with fire extinguishers and other facilities, but little is known as to how to operate them. Mock drills are rarely carried out and no follow-up sessions are organized. The shape of the library landscape in the 21st century and the future is slowly emerging. The new landscape combines the physical and virtual public library service, and this would eventually be reflected in the building layout and its design. Developments are occurring slowly, but libraries are increasingly looking at helping users to move seamlessly between printed and electronic resources. Electronic resources have multiplied the problem as these also have to be protected from virus and other threats. and backups have to be maintained in case the data is lost. A pioneer study, Disaster Management in Libraries of India, a study for doctorate degree, has been carried out under the able guidance of Dr. Harsha Parekh of SNDT University, Mumbai, which covers large number of libraries in India and studies in detail the disaster management plans and other facilities which was required long ago. So students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. The building and design of a library depends upon the type of library. A university library will be totally different from public library and other types of academic libraries. In addition to providing financial assistance for collection development, the UGC has given 100% grants for infrastructural development of university and college libraries, and many universities have benefited from it. The Bureau of Indian Standards has set up various standards for buildings, furnitures, and fittings. Despite this, the improvement of library infrastructure in the country remains ignored. The disaster management plan is usually ignored while planning library buildings. In changing landscape of library services, the library buildings to accommodate the combination of physical and virtual library services are need of the hour. Thank you.